Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com, and we are here in Public Square at United Way's Pancake Flip. Good morning, gentlemen. We're here this morning with Dan Walsh, who is the Northeast Ohio president of Huntington National Bank, and Rick Chiricosta, president and CEO of Medical Mutual of Ohio. Boy, that's a mouthful. Gentlemen, you are the co-chairs of this campaign. It's a big job, is it not?
It is a big job. It really is, and it's been a lot of fun. We're working hard, and it's a big responsibility. We intend to be successful.
Dan, you guys have been working, haven't you? I mean, you've already raised some money. We just announced the big goal. What's the big goal this morning?
The big goal is $41 million this year. It's a 2% increase over last year and the biggest increase in 8 years.
Wow.
So we've been working for the last several months. We've already raised $8 million, 20% of the way there.
How does that work? You already raised a bunch of money. What is that? It's a Pacesetter campaign?
Yeah, about 100 companies have already started their campaigns. They're called Pacesetters, and individuals have sent in donations and a variety of sources, some special events and things. So from all the sources, we've already got a confirmed $8.2 million, which is a great start.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's about raising the money, but it's also about the need in the community. Talk about how things have really changed over these past few years.
Sure. No, the need is greater than ever. There are 215 United Way agencies that support every corner of the Cleveland community, and it's such an important time in Cleveland's history where we have great momentum. United Way is there to make sure that everybody participates in the upward resurgence of our city and help those that are in most need. So it's really, the money's incredibly important because it helps those people, but it's about making an impact on the community.
Rick, you guys have stepped up Medical Mutual, and you've got a couple of challenge grants going on, which is really fabulous. Talk about that for a moment.
Well, it's real important. First of all, we think part of our important role is to support this community, and it's something that what the United Way does helps the health, the safety, the education of our community. All of those things in the long run are going to help keep healthcare costs down, and that's real important to us, and it's real important to business in Northeast Ohio.
Exactly.
So that's the reason we've stepped up, to encourage other people to help us make this a better community.
So talk about these challenge grants, because if folks donate, you guys are sort of matching some money, aren't you?
Yeah, on the business side, we're looking for new businesses that haven't had campaigns. Where there have been 1,700 employer campaigns in the past, there's a lot more than 1,700 companies in Northeast Ohio. And
That's
so
right.
Every time a company starts a campaign, up to $200,000, we're going to match that 2 for 1.
So
if you're a business and you can get your employees to give $5,000, it turns into $15,000. And that should be a pretty powerful motivator for a company that hasn't quite bit the bullet to have a campaign in the past.
That's awesome. Dan, talk about how do you talk to these new companies? A lot of them are struggling right now. The economy's starting to turn around, is it not? But what's the case that you make for these companies to step up and have their employees step up?
Well, there are a lot of new companies being formed in Cleveland right now that are very successful. They're growing fast. So actually, I think it's an opportunity through Medical Mutual's generosity to make sure that if they haven't been involved in the United Way campaign, this is an easy way for them to get involved.
Right.
And so their future is tied to Cleveland, right? And so to make sure that they can participate in that growth, we want to make sure we make it easy for them to help invest in our community.
Right.
So that challenge grant is a great way to start that.
It's amazing, though. How do you think the economy is affecting things here? I mean, you're seeing it with healthcare costs. You're seeing it with unemployment. Actually, in Ohio, we're about a 1 percentage point better than the rest of the country, which we're very pleased about. But things are still tough, aren't they?
Things are still tough, and we can never forget that. People are still struggling. But I will say this, in general, we're cautiously optimistic. We've seen it in our health insurance business from an employment standpoint. The companies that were shrinking a few years ago aren't necessarily growing as much, but they're also not losing employment. And that's a good thing.
That is good.
And I would just add that I think that there's always going to be people in need. United Way has been here for 100 years, helping Cleveland through the good times and the tough times. I'm optimistic about what's going on in Cleveland. I know Rick is too, where this is our unemployment rate is lower than the national average. There's some great things going on right now in our city. So it's time to make sure that we all keep investing in our community to make sure we keep that momentum.
Rick and Dan, thanks for taking time. It's a great event here. This is a tradition in Cleveland, Pancake Breakfast. We have a great tradition, do we not, of philanthropy in this town. I mean, this has gone on for years.
Cleveland is an incredibly generous community, always has been, and I believe it always will be.
Thank you so much for taking time, gentlemen. Good luck raising the rest of the money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in Cool Cleveland.